Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sales Development Podcast. I'm David Dulany, and I'm joined today with David Ashe, the head of sales development and all things SDR over at Allego. How you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing well, Dave. Great to be here, and thanks for having me.
It's two Daves. We'll try to keep it straight, right?
Yeah, there we go.
So Dave, I've been really interested in the sales technology space, and I want to understand, how did you get into sales development and then start running the team over to Allego?
Yeah, so I have about 15 years SaaS sales experience. How I got into being an SDR leader was I was a sales manager. And to be honest with you, and no offense to my VPs out there that I worked for, I just didn't really like just rolling up about revenue. I found that I really had a passion for developing young green salespeople, or just green salespeople. And after being a sales manager, I found an opportunity over at a company where I could be a frontline sales development leader. And I've been doing sales development ever since.
Oh, that's okay. So there's kind of two parts. One is the technical aspect of running the team, and then you also enjoyed working with people and building them up, in their career. What was the difference with that and running a sales team?
The difference. So there is still pressure, right?
Yeah.
But with a sales team, the sales process is a little longer. Where being a sales development leader, you're month to month if it's not a transactional sale, and I like enterprise sale rather than a transactional sale. So you are having that instant gratification, if you will, and that pressure or urgency to hit a number every month, and that every minute and every hour and every day counts. And I like that fast pace, and it's instantaneous because you're calling up and you're just booking meetings. You're not trying to go through the whole sales cycle. You don't have to bring in an SE. You don't have to bring in legal. It's just you and that prospect. And then you book a meeting for an AE, and you get those wins over and over and over and over again all month long.
Yeah, totally different. And so one of the things that we see is there's a lot of people coming up and getting into the job. They might not have any experience. So how do you utilize your product in actually helping your team?
Yeah, I could definitely hit on that. I do want to hit on the background, right? As you probably know, when we first got into sales, the training was just maybe a week or two, and then you were thrown into it, right? Yeah. And if you survived, you survived. If you didn't, they just hire someone else. But now, as we know, hiring's gotten a little tougher. So you have to start investing in your people. And we use our product to onboard our people. So we have the onboarding experience, but with our courses and our reinforcement. But then we use it throughout their time with Allego. And it's that long-term investment. So they're getting that onboarding experience with the videos and the online tests, but then they're also getting the call recordings where we can go in there and coach our team. And as you know, coaching isn't just leaving feedback like some other products out there where you just go in and leave feedback. Good job here, improve here. We can actually have a conversation asynchronously. So it allows us to, we're in a remote world, still interact with each other throughout the day. And you don't have to just be in a one-on-one listening to a call and putting in coaching, or putting coaching and then you close the loop the next one-on-one. You can do that throughout the day. And then we also have a tool where we can actually practice. And I see a lot of time, Dave, where you bring new SDRs on and they're just like, it's okay if I fail. And failure is fantastic. We want them to fail, right? Failure is the mother of all learning, right? We want to continuously fail, but we want to learn from it. But they're failing on phone calls where it could be an opportunity. They're failing with someone that, could be someone that we put in the sales pipeline that closes. So what we have is a simulator that helps you practice on your own. You don't have to rely on your peers to do role plays. You don't have to rely on your manager to do role plays. you can do role plays on your own with our simulator.
Got it. Okay. And so a couple of things. So if you hire someone who comes in and they've never sold software, they're just, ton of potential, but they don't have a lot of experience or background in your industry, what would be like a day in the life for them as they go through the onboarding process?
Yeah, so that's a good question. You want them to understand what Allego does. So we have different tracks, and that's one of the tracks, what Allego does. But then they're going to need to understand what industry they're going to be pitching or selling into. So that's another track. And then you have your tools track, where there's different courses teaching you how to use the tools that you're going to be selling with. And then you have the experience track, where it's listening to calls from your peers that have been doing it for a while. The saying, if you want to go somewhere, talk to someone who's been there. That's what we help with, right? We have those recordings, but we also have best practice sharing, where if an SDR has a great call or has used a special technique through our Sandler, or just, they want to share how they handled the objection, they can record themselves talking about that and share it out with a group. And then the group can actually go in there and start asking questions. So new hires, they'll watch these videos and they can actually type in there and ask a question to the rep who's been doing it a while. They'll get that notification and they can start that relationship while they're on onboarding. Even if they've never met face to face, they can start asking questions in that video. Hey, how'd you handle this? Why'd you do this? That's great. Love to partner with you later on.
And by, you mentioned asynchronously. So what do you mean by that?
So that's not in the flow of work, right?
Okay.
We're doing it synchronously. Like we're both here having a conversation.
Right.
Asynchronously is you talk, and then whenever I find the time, I can respond. So it doesn't have to be immediate. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
You send out just like an email. I don't read emails anymore. My DIS profile is a DI. So if you send me an email, anyone on this call, I'm probably not going to read it. I like videos. But if you send an email, it takes some time for someone to respond back to you. Okay. That's asynchronous communication. It's taking a while to respond to you. We do it through our videos, where I record something out to you, Dave, and then you go in there on your time and respond to it.
Got it. And so in the past, you would have like the sales floor, and everybody would actually come to the office. I know this sounds like a long time ago, but you'd come to the office, you're sitting in the sales floor, and there's that synchronous, communication where you make a sales call or you make a cold call and somebody could hear that and help you, in the moment there. And you're
just like when we were, Dave, sorry for cutting you off, but when we were on the sales floor, it was a splitter. You were sitting behind with a splitter. You were in your chair with a splitter. Yeah. Remember those days?
Oh my God. Those were crazy. I know. Yeah. Nobody knows what we're talking about, but no. Yeah. And then you're just sitting there all day. They're leaving voicemails the whole time. Yeah. Like, that was a pretty good voicemail.
Yeah. You have your pad and paper. You're like, notes, nothing yet. It's been 2 hours.
We've been sitting here. Good job. So you're essentially recreating that sales floor in a virtual format, and you don't even necessarily, you may have one SDR in San Francisco, and then the sales rep is in New York, and you're in Austin, Texas, but you can still support each other, through this system.
Yeah, exactly. So, we don't have that sales floor anymore. There are virtual sales floors out there, like a company called Nooks, which is great. We use that, but it only takes you so far, right? That's still synchronously. You're still just learning if you're in that room. But what we do is, we have those people with all that knowledge, all that wealth of knowledge in their head that they're doing on their own, and they're sitting in their home office. How do you get that out? So that's the way we do it with Allego, is we asynchronously share information and have those conversations going back and forth.
Yeah. And one thing that's it's tricky in gathering the information and formatting it for people so that they can learn it's almost as soon as you get it into like a training plan, it's outdated, and how things are moving so fast. So how do you make sure that, it's always the freshest, newest material for them? So they're not looking at like a product sheet from 3 years ago. Yeah.
So we have a great team over here, our sales enablement team. Being a sales enablement platform, we have one of the best sales enablement team I've ever worked with. We have a great marketing team, and we can see what type of content is resonating with our prospects and customers. And if it isn't, and it's old, we can easily just take that out and put new content in. And it's easy for our sales reps to find that and our SDRs to find that within the Allego system. It's just 2 clicks away. Like the old SharePoints, you go into the probably shouldn't talk about a company, but the old systems where you go in and you just multiple clicks to find some content. But with Allego, it's just 2 clicks and you'll have the most relevant content that people are interacting with, because we're tracking that and making sure if it's not relevant, we're taking it away.
And you think about, like, there used to be the playbook, like the sales playbook, and it was like you almost thought about like a big binder with like what the football coach is walking around with in his office. I could think of someone right now who, you got this big old playbook, but it's, like I said, it's almost immediately outdated, and it's old school. It's like paper and stuff like that. So is what you're describing, is it like replacing that old school playbook, or do you also have another playbook somewhere?
So it's definitely replacing that old school playbook. Okay. Right. I remember sitting at the printer, just sorting the pages to put into the binder for my team over at TripAdvisor when we built that playbook. Now it is digital, and we are taking things out, especially if we get rid of a tool and we add a new tool. We can easily take away that content and replace it with the new content. And it's you have your folder systems. So you go into the system, what our Allego system, whatever you want to call it when you partner with us. And you have different channels in there where you can find this information, and different folders and subfolders to easily find what you're looking for. And you don't have to just go into the channel. You can type it in, it appears for you automatically. And like I said, it's just 2 clicks away. But the playbooks of the old days of being on your desk or hung up, those are gone. Now it's a digital playbook where you can easily find that information and get to the chapter right away, rather than turning the page and sifting through all these documents.
Okay. And so now if the person is onboarded, they feel pretty comfortable, they're starting to produce, meetings and stuff like that. Like, how would they use it, in the middle part of their SDR career?
How would they use the playbook, or how would they use Allego?
Allego.
Yeah. So we believe in the growth mindset, similar to other companies out there, where you're always learning, right? You can always add new information on. What my SDRs who have a few months under the belt, or if they're 6 months or even a year, the way they use it is they're still going in there and listening to their own calls. They're still in there asking for help, typing in questions in their call. Dash, how would I handle this? I go by Dash, not David at work. So how would we handle this? Or if someone had a great call and they want to share it out with a group, they can easily go do that, and people can put comments in there. Or, what we love to do is at the end of the month, if someone had a successful month, we love to share that information with a group. So they'll record in Allego and talk about what they did and what they learned and what they're going to do next month to make sure they're successful.
Nice. Okay. So there's this continuous feedback loop. And you mentioned that you also use other tools with the team. So you mentioned Nooks. How does it interact with the other tools that they're using? So, and if someone doesn't have a sales engagement platform like what you're describing with Allego, like, how does it work with your CRM and if you have a sales loft or an outreach and that type of thing? How does it interact with those?
Yeah, so it does integrate with those. It integrates with a lot of platforms out there. And a lot of the stuff that is happening inside of Outreach or inside of SalesLoft or any other platform will be carried over into Allego. With Outreach and SalesLoft, they have a dialer. You use their dialer. Twilio records their phone calls, but we'll also record those phone calls and put those in the platform for you. So then you don't have to go into SalesLoft or Outreach and try to find those calls. It's already going to be housed in Allego, and you can easily find that call by rep, by team, or just searching the prospect or customer's name in the system.
Got it. So it just integrates. And then as the manager or the leader of the team, how do you use it to from sort of the higher level, purpose and training and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's made my job so much easier. I have leaders underneath me, and one of the things I tell my leaders is they need to be coaching. They need to be giving their team constant feedback. And usually it was the honor system, or, in the past we had them go to Twilio, tell me which call you coached, give me the link and put it in an Excel spreadsheet or a G sheet. And then they would have to copy and paste. Now I have a holistic view of which calls they've coached and how much feedback they put into it, because we have reporting in Allego that tells me what they're doing. Also, we have them record their role plays, and it's housed in Allego. And I can put in notes to help my coaches, my leaders, become better coaches. And I think that's something that not a lot of organizations do now. They talk about coaching and coaching the SDRs, but what about coaching your frontline leaders? How do you get them all on the same page and make sure they all coach the same? So I'm going in and coaching a call, and then you actually can see the call that I coached and see how I'm coaching. And if you have to take corrective action, you can take corrective action and put in notes in there as well.
That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've been in this for a long time. We both go way back, but there's always been a gap in manager training and coaching, and you get promoted because you're really great as an individual contributor, and then you're a manager, and they just figure, yeah, you know what to do, and as a director and all the way up the chain of command, it's like you're pretty much on your own, for development in that way.
It is. Some organizations do it great. Some do it very poorly. But Allego definitely helps you elevate that part of the game. And, it's not just doing, you get insight of the calls that are being coached so you can help them become a better coach. But, I love in your book, you're right. You talk about the one-on-ones and how the SDR should own that one-on-one and own the agenda. But some frontline leaders still think they're pushing it. So I have my leaders record their one-on-ones if it's not too personal, if it's just a standard one-on-one, and I can give them coaching on how to become a better leader to their SDR during that one-on-one.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That is, well, first of all, thanks for reading the book. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And if you haven't picked up his book, definitely do it. It's a
oh my God.
book.
I love this guy. And my son's name is Dash. So
nice.
It's not a contraction though. It's actually his name. So
nice.
Good company. And it's interesting because what a huge opportunity for growth in helping managers get better at their one-on-ones, because that is probably, I don't have any statistics or anything, but it's a lot of one-on-ones end up being a huge waste of time because they're just unstructured.
Yep. There's no value, or some don't have any value in it. It just becomes, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we've done that in passing at the water cooler or the virtual water cooler. You don't have to do it in a one-on-one. I could be out there making phone calls. So we definitely help with making sure that the coaches become better coaches, or the frontline leaders become better leaders. And one big thing about Allego is it's collaboration. Again, I love the saying, and maybe I'll get it tattooed on me one day, but if you want to go somewhere, talk to someone who's been there. And Allego definitely allows us to do that.
That's amazing. And then, so like, are the things that you're doing with the team as the senior leader, is there somebody above you who's monitoring that, and then they have one-on-ones with you, or does it kind of end at your level?
Kind of ends at my level. I had a great leader. He's going off to do better things, but he would listen to our calls.
Yeah.
and he would give us feedback, kind of just in the moment feedback on how it's going. But yeah, it doesn't go higher, but it could.
Asynchronously, but they can,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they could
Yes.
drop
Yeah.
in anytime to see what's going on.
Yeah. And I
And
mean, as a
yeah,
CEO, a CRO, a CTO, or CFO, you should be listening, and a CMO obviously should be listening to the SDR calls and the sales calls, so you can understand what the prospects are looking for and what's happening with the interactions with your customers.
oh, it's that is such a huge opportunity, because you tend to get in like an ivory tower type of situation where a lot of those decisions are being made without all the knowledge that you could potentially get from the actual conversations that the SDRs and AEs are having out there with potential clients, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you probably know this, but we're the boots on the ground, right? We're the one interacting with the prospects and the customers every minute of the day, hopefully every minute of the day. We have a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
We want to share that with the rest of the group to make our product better, to make our company better. And we use Allego to do that.
Yeah, this is so interesting. And by the way, these guys are not paying anything to be on the podcast. I just want to make that clear. There's no sponsorship here, but it's just really interesting to me. And you know, real talk. Like, are there other? Let me just ask this: are there other companies trying to do what Allego does? And you can just say yes or no. You don't have to name any names, but what's the difference between you and them in like you're so much better?
Yeah. And I'm not afraid to talk about competition. I love competition because competition makes us better, right? Well, we want to learn what our competition's doing. We want them there because if you don't have any competition, you just become fat and happy. And then your customers start to actually take the brunt of that. And then you start losing customers. So, we have some customers.
Or you die. Sorry to interrupt. I was going to say you die because nobody actually wants your product if you don't have customers or competitors. So if you're in a competitive environment, it means that there's buyers out there, which is good news. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and it makes you innovate, right? We have a bunch of competitors, and they all do different things. Things with our competitors are they're point solutions. So they may be a content management solution. They may be used for onboarding. They may be used just for call intelligence. We do it all. And I'm trying to get this phrase coined or, some sort of on our t-shirt, but we are really the Swiss Army knife of sales enablement. We have it all. You can go buy other solutions that do one thing, but then you're going to be spending more money because you have to have all these different licenses for these different products. And then you have to have different login, and then people are jumping around to different systems to find information. Everything that we do with the call intelligence, the virtual selling, the digital sales rooms, the content management, the onboarding, the launches and rollouts, that's all built into Allego.
In one thing. So say you were a company and you had a pretty big SDR sales team. I mean, let's just say hypothetical, it's you've got like 5 SDRs and 5 salespeople, and you've got a CRM and a sales engagement platform and some data. Is that the point where all you would need to do is plug in Allego and you're good as far as the training, development, onboarding, etc.?
So I do apologize. My dog was barking right there.
I know mine was too. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry everybody. Yeah.
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So say you've got a a decent sized team. So you've got like 5 SDRs and 5 salespeople. You've already got a CRM. You have a sales engagement platform. Is that the point where you could just plug in Allego and you're good to go as far as the training, coaching, onboarding, etc.?
Yeah, it's not a hard integration. The API is there, so you can integrate with different types of platforms, and it's not a long rollout either. So it's not going to take up, a year of integrating to get you going.
Okay. And what if you already have something like you've got like 2 or 3 point solutions. Nobody's really using them. They're not very good, but you don't really want to rip them out and replace them with something. What would be the process if you talk to somebody like that?
Is that you got to spend money to make money, I guess. Right? If you're using all these point solutions and they're not working for you,
yeah,
and you're not really using it, I mean, I have some, give me your money, right? Like you're just letting money out the window. Those people that have multiple point solutions that come over to us, and not to make a sales pitch here, but we do see a 31% reduction in cost. There's a 31% cost savings when you're just move to one solution rather than all these different point solutions. And the thing is, when you have multiple point solutions, your adoption's really low, because people don't want to keep logging into one system then the other system, and we're creatures of habits, right? We're just going to log into one or two. Well, you have four, so why not just get one? So they're all just logging into that one system.
And who usually at the company, is it and if they have an enablement team, are they usually the buyer for this, or is it usually the frontline manager? Is it the director? Like who usually brings this into the company?
Yeah, so there's multiple stakeholders. You do see directors of sales, VPs, SVPs, CROs. Yes, the enablement team is usually part of it, but they're not always leading the charge. It might be the sales team, because they want to replicate that A player behavior. As a sales leader myself, I'll be honest with you, I don't hit it out of the park 100% of the time when I hire. I do hire those B players, but luckily we have the A players that help those B players come up by using Allego. So the sales leaders are leading the charge to get Allego implemented. We have CMOs, marketers that are leading the charge too, to make sure that they're spending all this time writing content. They don't know if the content's being used, if it's resonating with their prospects. Again, they're throwing money out the window because they're like, oh, let's try it again. I guess that didn't work. Allego helps with that. So we have marketers who are leading the charge. And again, like I said, the enablement team, because it makes their life a lot easier when you have a platform like Allego in place.
It's so interesting. Well, it seems like a total game changer. I mean, how do you feel about the next few years in this industry?
I think we're just getting started. And again, to go back, we're old dogs here, Dave. I remember just of the training I went through, and when I became a sales or SDR leader over at another company, how I had to write the onboarding program, and how I had to enable my team, and I didn't have a team helping me, and I didn't have platforms out there helping me. And now that we do, it's going to continue to evolve. And the way I look at enablement too is enablement's a big piece of motivation. If you're not continuously trying to get your team better to make their job easier, they're going to leave. They're going to get bored. So having platforms like this in place are a necessity to keep your workforce happy and motivated and making you money.
I agree 100%. Anybody's homework, if you want some good entertainment, go to Reddit/sales and read, from really people that are doing the SDR job and the AE job. A lot of things that you've touched on, they don't get great coaching or management, and the one-on-ones are kind of a waste of time to help them. It's like a treadmill kind of. They're just bored, of doing the same thing. They get tons of rejection, so their motivation starts to sink. So what can we do, to help them, continue to evolve and grow their skills to be better? This seems like a great platform.
Yeah. It definitely is. And like I said, it's made my life as a leader so much easier. And being in the remote world, Nooks is fantastic for a virtual sales floor, but I can't hear every call. I can't see how my coaches are coaching. I can't continuously give my team new hints and tips to try on the phone. I utilize Allego for my team members to actually do that for me. So again, it's making my job easier that way.
And you can spread out and kind of delegate it. So it's just not just on you, as the manager to like figure out everything. You can like crowdsource the knowledge within your company to help people, improve.
Yeah.
So interesting. Well, Dash, can I call you Dash?
You can.
Okay. Yeah. That's a cool name. Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on the show. And definitely, I mean, I'm a convert, man. So I need to check out Allego.
Yeah.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about this?
Yeah. So you can go to Allego.com. You can sign up for a demo request to contact us form. Find me on LinkedIn, David Ashe. If you just look up the sales director or director of sales development at Allego, you'll find my LinkedIn. Connect with me. Love to have a conversation. But Dave, thank you for having me on here. I read your book 2 years ago. Again, fantastic book. And I've implemented things from your book that has made my team better, but also has made me a better leader.
Oh man, that is awesome. Well, dude, you're motivating me now because I've got 2 books that I've been working on over the last 2 years, and they're not even close. And I'm not going to use ChatGPT. I don't use any of that stuff. So so I'm struggling, but I got some good ones coming out for you and for your team. So stay tuned on that. And thanks for being interested.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the Sales Development Podcast. David Ashe at Allego. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks all.